Oh,
boy, I heard that.
Ow.
Oh,
Stop.
boys.
Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. I am Derek Cook, as always, with my buddy AJ over here.
Howdy.
And we're going to go ahead and go over what happened last weekend.
Yep. I bet we are. All right.
So, the Storm lose 2 at the hands of the Macon Mayhem. Not the greatest weekend.
That's a tough one. This is a tough stretch.
Yeah, so just going straight into the analysis here. On night 1, in the first period, they were looking actually okay. They had some solid pressure. Sam Kangas looked excellent. He looked excellent all weekend, but that's beside the point here. But really, after the midpoint of the first, it was mostly all Macon.
I thought they put together like a good 30 minutes in the first game. Like, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, well, Macon with Yaroslav Yevdokimov, a former KHL player who is somehow playing in the SPHL.
put back in that.
He played 38 KHL games. The fact that someone that has played in the KHL is playing
Like
the
that much.
SPHL is
I mean, I get like
absurd.
if you maybe made like a couple of games, got a couple call-ups. Like Jukes played 4 KHL games, so.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
But 38 KHL games, like put that in perspective. If you're not familiar, that is the top Russian league. It is widely considered the second best hockey league in the world, like higher than the American League. So, 38 games at that level. I mean, and it just took about 3 seconds of seeing him with the puck to,
This is terrible.
Well, it's a good thing it's unbranded water.
This is not good.
I will definitely have the rest of that. I love those.
Yeah, you can
unbranded waters.
You can have that. That's
I
terrible.
don't want it now.
Well, now you have it
I
now.
don't want
There
it
you go.
now.
No,
Give me the lid.
No, I want the
No. Yeah, somebody who has played that many games at that high of a level, just kind of showing up at just, I thought they were going to come in there. I thought it was going to be 2 easy wins. So, I guess that's why they play the game. I'll eat my hat, I eat my words. So that's too bad. But I thought definitely that like a ringer, like a secret weapon. That's.
Yep, I mean, they had Yevdokimov, Simonchek, and Monikov.
Yeah.
Those guys were lights out.
It was like the Four Nations. It's like the Four Nations showed up in Macon, Georgia.
Well,
So.
remember, Russia's not allowed.
Oh, yeah, okay. There it is, yeah. Exactly. Cheating jerk.
But, yeah, so the Russians on Macon were definitely giving the Storm a hard time in game 1. Didn't really seem to have an answer for Yevdokimov in the first game. And then, unfortunately, our old pal Bailey Birkin was playing lights out on the other end.
I mean, good for him. It's always nice to, you never root against anyone, especially somebody who played so long here and was such a big member of the community. But I was a little pissed, man. Like where was that?
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, because like I was saying last
First
episode,
season Birkin.
Yeah,
year Birkin.
At times when he was with the Storm, he looked like one of the best goaltenders in the league, and he definitely showed that over the weekend against the Storm.
He looked phenomenal
in both games. With the shutout in the first game, yeah, it was quite a weekend for those guys. And then I'm sure that had to taste sweet for Chesney.
I bet, dude. I think we've all been there, and
yeah, I mean, and then in the guys' defense, they gave it their all. And then the first night, also at the end there, the suspensions from Fournier and Zook, and
they came down short. It looked like they came down with 16.
That's
so
true.
Then you lose a seventh of your team.
Yeah, because you got Fournier's for the instigator, and then I'm not 100% sure on how Zook caught an instigator. Rewatching that clip, it looks like they
can't
just
see anything.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they just tied up, and then whatever his name is, I can't remember the name at this point, but
I think it was Simonchek, number 11.
Was it Simonchek? He just started hammering on Zook's forearm.
Yeah,
and
I hated that.
And then Zook punched him in the face, and then he cowered away.
He booped him in the booper.
But to get, because it was actually, he got a continuing altercation.
Did he?
which is the suspension he got. But
Why didn't the other guy get one?
yeah,
Not that it matters. Like,
No,
I'm definitely not gonna like tiff and be like. I mean, the officiating over the weekend it was questionable, but if you're gonna watch a game, that's how I'd rather be officiated.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
they let it go both ways. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
can't complain about that. But yeah, I mean, if Zook's gonna get one there, I think that the other guy's probably gonna get one.
Right.
That goes above and beyond just defending yourself. Like,
Yeah. Well, and then going into night 2, so we start the game with 14 skaters.
that's tough.
Tough.
I've played beer league games with more guys than that. That's so good on the boys for going out there and putting together a good 60 minutes with 14 guys.
I mean that in the first period, I actually thought
they
things
looked
were
good.
going to go
Scored
pretty
first,
good. Yeah, Mo, the
Big Mo.
goal. Yeah,
he
big goal
beat
from Mo.
Birkin clean, dude. I love that move.
That was great. But yeah, and then also really noticeable. Always noticeable, but in this particular case, Tommy on the forecheck in the first was
He's looked
ravenous.
so good. Like the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's really been on a tear. I wish he could bury one because he has been all around it. Like he's really earned one.
Right, and then also I noticed in the second game, it seems like they figured out how to shut down Yevdokimov and the rest of the Russian guys that Macon had. They were lighting them up in the first game, but the other contender that was new that night was the 14 skaters. So
Yeah.
you can only
The wheels on the bus only go
Yeah.
so far, especially you're on that long bus ride down to Georgia.
yeah. I mean I think I got 12 or 13 hours down and back. So
The storm went down to Georgia looking for some points to steal. But
and Bailey Birkin took them all.
yeah, lost that third flight. So I mean,
Um,
again, there's a lot of good things to take away. You know, it's definitely one you keep your chin up on. Like,
I think I think if they have a full bench the second night, I think they at least take it to overtime. If not take that win, just because you don't run out of gas so much in the third. I mean, again, what are you gonna do though? Like you got 14 guys.
Yeah. And I know you wanted to touch on this, like Roni,
Oh my, macaroni salmon! What a weekend for that guy.
dude, really outstanding. And he's very young. This is his first like full professional year. I think he spent some time in the Finnish 2 league, Finnish 3 league, but I mean just a cup of coffee.
He did, and I guess that'll just bring us straight to the player of the week because I mean, we do not pick opposing players for the player of the week here
Yeah.
on the forecast.
No,
because we're
this is
homers.
not the Conn Smythe. This is not, yeah,
But it's obviously it's got to be macaroni salmon.
dude.
The
Yeah,
man, the
Roni
miracle
Salomon Kangas shouldered the load, to put it, you know.
Across the 2 games, macaroni salmon had a .950 save percentage.
I think
And
40, 42 shots a game.
yeah,
I think was
that's
the average.
That's just absurd. That's an incredibly good weekend for someone. Like I feel like he really has stepped his game up as well since the beginning of the year. It's like night and day.
He looked really shaky at the start of the year.
Yeah, but he
I had some questions, but
he played absolutely lights out. And like I was saying earlier, I feel like maybe the fan base and myself definitely jumped to conclusions when he first got here. I mean, it's his first full year
Mhm.
pro, and so he's turned into a really good goalie for us.
yeah, it's nice to have somebody, you know, behind you that you're comfortable with. So
Yeah, and
I
I mean,
think the boys were playing really confident. So, you know, it just ran into a hot goalie.
yeah, I mean, and then the saves that he was making just with
Little goalie saves. You know, those are the
Yeah.
Curtis Joseph, Dominic Hasek like days of old. You don't see that much anymore with, you know, every goalie's 6'7" now.
I mean, it was crazy because man, there's multiple times over the weekend where it was just point blank. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking dudes 4 feet in front of him with just nobody around him, and he'd make the
He
save.
plays a little deeper in his net
Yeah,
than I would like, than I'm normally used to. But
Right.
like, I think it works. I think it works for him. His depth in the net is allowing him to get over and, you know, pipe to pipe. You know, I'd say a lot quicker than most other goalies in the league.
yeah, it was great to watch him do his thing that weekend, and I mean, kudos to him for stepping up with Brent Moran out.
Yeah.
And also, I guess we can mention Sam Best
Mm.
was the e-bug this weekend.
Yeah.
He was signed with the Storm at the beginning of the year, but got put on waivers. Notably, also played for Macon, so maybe why he's still around the Macon area. Who knows?
Yeah, I imagine it was a location thing. Location.
Right. So that will bring us now over to our play of the week, which is there's really only 2 that I can think of. Why don't you go ahead and give me yours first?
Well, I hope it's the easier one, and I gotta go with Big Mo, with Big Mike Moran and the breakaway snipe. You know, he kind of dug the left shoulder and then put it to the right, past the glove hand. So
I think Mo is at his best when he is driving on the backhand toward the net because he's got
he gets that head of steam,
he's got a bunch of moves
and then he goes really kind of like soft back against the grain, and it's just not what you're expecting in the net. So yeah, that's a
Right.
beautiful move, and I'm glad he buried.
For me, I think my play of the week is going to be there was a time, I think it was in the first game, where there was a turnover from the corner. We tried to break up pass it and coughed up. Sammy Kangas, no stick. No stick.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
stick is about 3 feet in front of him. Yevdokimov just has all the options, and Macaroni Salmon stonewalls him.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it was
It
huge.
would just be so hard to pick like one save out of that for play of the week. So
Yeah,
I would
there-
roll. But
yeah.
I mean, obviously he had about 90 seconds worth. You just cut them together 2 or 3 seconds at a time. 90
That's
seconds
crazy.
worth of big time saves, big huge. Saves that keep you in the game. Saves that 90% of the time are going to go in, and those saves that keep you in the game, they give your team momentum. And that's all
Yeah,
I did all weekend was build momentum. So,
Yeah, I mean in that second game, man, he kept him in it till the third buzzer there. I mean, they gave him all the chances,
individually, I think he built himself a lot of momentum going forward. So I mean,
Absolutely.
if Brent's going to be out for an extended period of time,
You don't feel
I'm
shaky.
happy
anymore.
with
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and that's a huge
I'm
deal,
not happy he
especially
would be out, but I'm
right.
more comfortable with that. So
Especially if you can get the fans on your side here in Quad City.
Yeah.
I mean, we got great fans here in Quad City, and I mean, if you just look back, I mean, they value winning a lot, but they also like to fall in love with the guys that play here.
the guys are so key. I mean, and that's something we haven't had in a long time. It's like the staple figures around the community, and I appreciate that a lot about the guys who've been here for the last couple of years. Because that means a lot to everybody who's involved.
Yeah, keeping the core around has definitely helped foster a better fan base, I feel like. So we followed up with the play of the week. We're going to go into the standings check-in here.
Oh boy.
After the couple losses, we are currently tied for 6th with the Birmingham Bulls. We have the same amount of wins as the Bills, but I believe the tiebreaker goes points, regulation wins, and
Goals
then
for.
goals for. And we have more goals for than the Bulls, so that's why we're above them at 6th. However, that's a moot point with the Bulls having 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a toss up where we're going to
And,
be.
and Roanoke in 5th with 4 games in hand and 4 more points.
Yep, that's true. And then we got the Thunderbolts are also 1 point back of us, and
Yeah.
they have played the same number of games. However, I think you said Matt Hobbs just took suspension
He
in
did.
the last game.
He did. That's what it looked like.
Okay,
Instigator in the last 5, I believe.
so we'll see. We'll see what happens on that front. But we'll go ahead and move on now to the roster updates. On IR still we have Panucci, Golka. Nick was actually officially added to the 30-day IR now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
That's a bummer. Hopefully you get
I
him
think
back.
everybody in the fan base, Nick's a fan favorite, so we're wishing him a
Absolutely.
speedy recovery.
Yep, and then not on IR, but just a note. Alex Hudson did not make the trip this weekend.
Yeah.
He's got a large family here, so that makes sense.
Missed
But-
him this weekend, though.
Yeah, I feel like we missed a little bit of the net front from him and
Oh,
Nick.
Just what he brings to it. He's huge. He can play the body really well when he wants to. Like,
Right, and then not on IR, but presumably still hurt is Brent Moran. And then team suspension still Salak, obviously. And then our boy Slim Smirnoff
he does really well at the
Still-
coast. So
still on
he doesn't
call
have to come back.
with the Adirondack Thunder. I think.
Fingers crossed.
You know how many games he played? 5 yet? I think it's still 4.
didn't check in since last time.
Last I checked, he had played 4. Doesn't have a point yet, but he's got 4 games under the belt.
I think as far as that goes, it's less about how you produce on the call up, and it's more you just fill a spot until an injured player or call up to the American League returns.
Right.
I
That
can't
makes
confirm
sense.
that, but that's I'm pretty sure how it works. So
Right, and then notably off the IR for this past weekend was Lucas Lackney.
oh yeah, it was good to have him back.
Yep, and Jake Maynard.
It's good to have Maynard back too.
Yeah, I mean, for me having Maynard back is a huge deal. Having a right-handed D because I feel like right-handed D-men are
As
kinda
strong
tough
and
to come
smooth
by.
as he is with the puck, they've been missing that.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll go ahead and move on to taking a look at the upcoming games for this week, which is going to be Friday, Saturday, and Thursday.
Yeah.
They have Huntsville at home Friday, Saturday, and then Peoria at home on Thursday. Also, it looks like the Peoria game is going to be the school day game, 10:30 a.m. puck drop. That'll be fun. Well, let's go ahead and get into looking at Huntsville. A first note, because of just what happened this past weekend.
Now, when you say they're at home, you mean Huntsville's at home. These are away games.
Yes.
Okay.
My fault.
No, it's okay. Just
But
wanted to
we
clarify.
are at home for Peoria.
Okay, so it is the Quad
Yes.
City home game for this. So that's at 10:30 on Thursday.
10:30
So
a.m.
get
yeah.
the kids there.
Right.
Get the doctor's note for school and get them to the hockey game. You know it's important, right?
Right. But go ahead and take a look at Huntsville. Notably, what happened this past weekend. They will not have Reginato, who got a 1-game suspension, or Procopio, who got a 3-game suspension. The 3 games was for coming off the bench.
Leaving the
And then Reginato got 1 game, I'm assuming, for instigating or continuing altercation, one of those ones that usually happens at the end. Reginato is leading the team in PIMS with 97 penalty minutes.
Second in the
29
league.
games. Second in the league. And then you got
Mom's problem.
Procopio, who's got 18 points in 30 games. So just a solid secondary scorer for them.
I mean,
but,
they're both big time contributors to that team.
right, and they've been on the team for years. So missing those 2 guys is
That might be
definitely gonna help the Storm's case. Huntsville's top scorer is Buster Larson, who has 33 points in 32 games.
They look like a team just from an outside perspective that does it as a whole. What do you call it? There's no like we have a Leaf who's got 50 points. They do it.
It's like role player,
four deep lines. Like
Right.
they're a really good team. They played the same system for a number of years now.
yeah. But I mean, they sell out
Every game.
yeah, I mean,
6K game.
Granted, their barns are small. Their barn is small, but still, like that's going to be a factor for them for sure. Having just a full barn with the fans on top of them.
I think it's very cool how down south they've got that culture, that hockey culture down there in these really small pockets. Like,
Yeah, Huntsville has done a great job of building the program.
so
Gotta give
good for them, and I'm sure the boys are excited to go down there and play in front of a packed house and steal one out from them. So
Back to Buster Larson. He's got 13 goals and 20 assists. And also a note, he is 6'5" and 214. So for your leading scorer to be that big is
he's huge and he's long and he's smooth. You know, fuck. He's a very long skater, and his strides are elevated. Not that often. We'll clean that one up in post.
There's no post here. Anyway, after talking about how huge and long and smooth Buster Larson is, we'll go ahead and take a look at the goaltenders for Huntsville, which is Troy Coburn and Mike Robinson. Mike Robinson presumably is their starter. He's rocking a 2.26 GAA
Yeah.
and a .928 save percentage, so pretty solid goal.
He's been their stalwart now for I think at least the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's 15-4 this year, so putting up pretty good win-loss numbers. I mean,
Coburn, I believe, tends to float around as a backup.
Yeah, he's been on a few different teams. I think he was most recently on Peoria prior to that.
Yeah.
I think he's played a couple games for Peoria this year.
He came up here from Pensacola when he was with Pensacola one time. I think they scored 3 of their first 5 shots on him, and they put Dinger back in. So I'm not saying he's not a good goalie, but I doubt they'll be looking at him this weekend. I'm sure it's all going to be
Mike Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Say they got Wilson and Robinson, the most just like standard last names.
Right.
Used to we got Salomon Kangas, like
and then we had earlier in the year we had JBP, Bertucci,
Bartucci,
It's
Ferrero,
like
all league name.
poor Josh Eves just over there in the equipment room, just sweating bullets, sewing on 80 characters on the back of a jersey.
Actually, no, they lazied it up. They just
they just hyphenated it. It's B Pereira.
Yeah, B Pereira. Most teams take the time to get the Bartuccio in there, which I think that's sweet. I would have loved one of those jerseys.
I think with our font, because I think
huge.
The team that did it, I believe, was Macon last year, and then Pensacola.
It would have been shoulder to shoulder.
I'll have to look. I haven't seen Pensacola because
Shoulder blade.
I know Bartucci Pereira is on Pensacola now. I'll have to look and see what the back of his jersey looks like. But I know Macon's font was pretty small last year, but our font's like pretty blocky.
I remember that's like seeing him being like, oh wow, all league name like right there. Jeez, how do you even say that? And
Speaking of which, I guess we can just kind of bring this up in the middle of everything. We had a. I was taking a look on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, by the way, the Forecast QC. I was taking a look on our Instagram, just kind of scrolling through hockey content. I happened to see someone named Ocean Fancy. Someone named Ocean Fancy committed to some school, and I commented on it as the podcast, and I said this guy has got to have top 10 wildest names, and it's got like 30 something likes. But like,
well, if we're talking all names, biggest disappointment, Orca Weisblatt. Why did he not come? I needed that. I needed an Orca on the team.
Okay, so far, just to keep track, we've talked about how long, hard, and smooth Buster Larson is. We talked about why didn't Orca come.
Why didn't Orca come? Hey, this is supposed to be like relatively fast. You're the one who's twisting him.
Oh my god. Anyway.
I'm free. I'm innocent. Over here, I'm free. I didn't do anything wrong. I will be exonerated. I have game tape, so.
Also, sorry, back to Ocean Fancy. He followed us on Instagram.
Boy, Ocean
faithful
Fancy.
Follower, Ocean Fancy.
Dude, you know,
thanks
in
for
a
the
couple
follow.
in a couple of years, you know.
Yeah, come on the Storm. We got
Fancy.
Fancy on the Storm. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
All right. Anyway, back to the game. Huntsville. A little sidetrack there. Huntsville in their last 10 are 6-4. They had funny enough, they had two really close games with Macon.
Yeah.
So
I think Macon's. I said it last week that I think that they have a really good team. I think they wildly underperformed. So.
Yeah.
Not surprised to hear that at all.
Yep. So they had two close games. They beat Macon in one, and then they believe they beat them again, but in overtime.
Yeah.
The next game, and they lost to the Bulls recently and the Ice Bears. They beat the Ice Bears in a wild game.
Yeah.
With a goalie fight.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's just absolute chaos in the second period in that game that they played. But yeah, so they will be matched up against the Storm this coming weekend in Huntsville.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
There's nothing like going down
after
the top team's barn, stealing a couple away from them.
After having a tough couple and Macon, it would be nice to be able to beat up on the first place team.
Yeah.
You know. But and then also on Thursday, that brings us over to our school day game against Peoria.
My favorite game of the year. Honestly, there's nothing more I like than
school day.
Ducking out of work and going and watching a hockey game.
Absolutely. I mean,
like 2 White Claws deep by noon. Like get the popcorn crumbs on your.
Yeah, for me, it's just great because it's like it's a holiday. It's a holiday.
Yeah,
it's hockey
my
holiday.
Favorite game. I mean, I have a lot of favorite games if you know me long enough. But
right. But you're eating hot dogs at 10:30 in the morning. Like
get to the rink at 9:59. You're like, oh man, wearing your PJs. Like.
But and then also, geez, the kids in the crowd.
Oh, dude, they love it.
Absurd. They just
love it.
They freak out.
They don't even need anything to get excited over. They show up excited.
If you just put on the jumbotron, like, get loud.
Yeah. I want to clip it out like yeah. Right. Fuck. Oh no, it's great. It's a great time. It's a great environment.
I'm really glad they do that league wide. I think from at least most of the teams. I'm not sure.
It spreads the game too, because I mean you have to think like if these kids don't get exposed to the games, then they might not ever even know about hockey. I mean, there's so many just driveway sports you can play: basketball, soccer, baseball. Hockey's when it's hard to get kids on the ice. So
right, I know I have 3 kids myself. I know they don't know. I know you know, but they don't know. And taking the 2 older ones to the game, 6 and just about. No, she is 4. I can't keep track of my kids' ages. But 6 and 4. Whenever they go to the games, they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Hopi, my middle child. Every time we go, she asks me when we get to do the Hayos, which the Storm after they score, they'll go hey ho hey. So she gets really excited when we get to do the Hayos,
and it's wonderful.
and half the time the scorekeeper guys, they'll give her knucks and she'll give them high fives as they walk by, and sometimes the guys will flip her a puck, during warm-ups and stuff. She loves doing games. It's great. But the school day game, playing Peoria, who is 8-2 in their last 10, so they're pretty hot. I mean, when you have the same, when you have the same group of guys pretty much that have been playing together for
25 years now, I say. 33 years probably.
Their whole lives, but no, definitely most of their professional career. I mean, you got the guys like Ernst, Bear, Wilkie. I know, I can't remember. I think they got Nazareth. No, they just traded Nazareth, I believe.
Oh yeah, well, like they got actually rid of a ton of guys, to be honest. But they still have just the same system, the same types of guys. It doesn't matter.
Good old Jean Guy.
Oh man,
who was a Mallard, by the way. He played just a few games for the Mallards before he.
No, a little before that.
No, it was
405.
It was like 02,
Was it?
03. It was a little bit early. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I played a handful of games in the Mallards, well over a point per game.
My god, I believe he played in the NHL.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
At least in the American.
Yeah, at the minimum, he probably played a few games in the American League. But going on to who Peoria currently has leading their stats here, Jordan Ernst leads not only the Rivermen but the league in goals with 25 goals.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking about something interesting?
Alec Bear, he's second.
Who?
Alec Bear is second in the league in points with 46.
Wow, a guy I've never even heard of him. He's second in the league.
And Wilkie leads the league in assists with 32.
Which one's Wilkie?
Ugh.
Yeah.
See, the only reason I know you know who Wilkie is because of the fucking mustache.
Fucking mustache guy. It's like I had one first. I'm probably older than him. So
Hate Peoria, but Wilkie's
so
got
much. He
all
has a
time
funny
mustache.
I like it when he dyes his hair blonde too. And
Yeah.
actually, I don't like that. I don't know why I said that.
Listen, the only person allowed to dye their hair very, very blonde is Slim Smirnoff. Okay,
One guy and one guy only.
he is the only one allowed. He is slim. His palms are a little bit sweaty.
Boom, boom.
We will get copyright struck for that.
Oh,
No
wait.
more. But and also leading the league in penalty minutes, but out on IR is Trudell's son Tristan Trudell.
You do hate to see anyone get hurt. So all jokes
yeah, I did.
aside, you know,
I mean, obviously don't want to see him hurt.
I think they're a better team, like with him in the lineup. So
I'm actually a little upset that he's not in the lineup
Yeah.
because I really want
like
to see
Crowder.
Cole Crowder fight him.
Yeah. like trying to slip him a 5 underneath the,
But I
underneath
think-
the stall, like fight him.
I think that will be a factor though, because I know normally when we play them, he is just a thorn in the side all game for the guys.
Yeah, and I think the last time they played, he scored, and that pissed me off. It's like shot it from like behind the net, like bounced off a skate line. It's like just anyone else, please, like let a fan throw one in before Trudell gets one. Like,
But on the upside, the boys will be the boys will be at home that game.
yeah,
And
it's gonna be some rabble-rousing kids there. too.
And then we'll also, for this coming stretch of games, we're gonna have back obviously Zook and Fournier
Yeah,
after their little 1-game siestas, which is great because I mean Fournier runs the entire back end.
best
of
edges
the
in the league.
offense.
I don't really think I've ever seen a better skater in person. I mean, I've been to a couple NHL games, but outside of that, like, he's a phenomenal skater.
Yeah, I mean it's really great for the team having two guys like Henderson and Fournier who can go end to end like that.
Yeah.
Just gotta get there to make the pass, and those guys do a great job at that. And then Zook also coming back this
High
weekend.
energy guy, great shot.
Yeah, we talked about him in the last episode. Just
It's hard not to. I mean, fun
he's
guy.
all over out there. But so going into our predictions for this game, we will take a look at the Nostradamus numbers, which is the amount of correct predictions that we have had.
Come on.
I don't like being right about things where we lose, but we did lose the first game, and I did say we were going to lose the first game, so I am currently leading against AJ here 1-0. However,
That's such a technicality. That's a foof. I've foofed
a
at that.
foof.
Foofed at that.
However, so we're gonna go ahead and make our predictions for these 3 games coming up.
Yeah, let's get it. I have a prediction for you right here.
All right, you know what? You go ahead. Start us off.
3-0, baby.
3-0. All
Going down
dubs.
to Huntsville. Going down to Huntsville and gonna take both games in regulation. gonna sweep them both from the hometown team. You know, like one game, they're gonna leave early. One game fans are leaving early. Calling it right here, right now.
Okay.
Now the Peoria game on Thursday, that's gonna be a battle. I think everyone's gonna show up. It's early, gonna have a ton of legs, and that's gonna be a battle. But I think the Storm will take it. Be a close one. Be like 5-3, 3-2,
So
something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. 3-0, 3-0, baby. Let's go.
so for me, I won't get into the specifics, but I'm gonna say we take the first game in Huntsville. I think they might give us a hard time the second game. It's going to be a packed house on a Saturday. Maybe we drop the second game, but I think we come home on the school day game against Peoria. I think we humiliate them
Yeah.
with all the children
I like that.
screaming in their ears. I think
like
we
that.
humiliate Peoria.
Start the buses. They're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a wild weekend. It's gonna be a nice long week. Long week with that Thursday game.
A nice long week.
Stop it.
Oh, I will skewer you on anything as if
nice
I can
hat.
find it.
Nice hat, dude.
Hey, speaking of which,
Nice hat. Yeah. See,
no hat this
he's
time
never
around.
gonna wear a hat again.
no hat this time around.
Roasted.
But following this up with the keys to the game, for me, the keys to these upcoming games, number one is going to be the same as always: get some net front presence established, make the goalie's job harder, and then get the shots on net is going to be the second one for me.
It.
More shots on net, because in the last two Macon games we were kind of missing shots on net. And the third key is, if there's a time that you're going to send the message, send it early.
Okay.
So if you're gonna pick a fight, do it early on. If you go down big, get it going.
You win an aspect of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, 3 keys over the weekend.
Physical. Gotta be physical. Like, I think, you know, it was pretty clear who won the physical game this weekend, and I think that's just a game that the Storm can easily win night in and night out. Just takes a commitment. I know it's not easy, but gotta be more physical. I like the net front presence. I like the more shots on net. So I'm gonna say it again: shots for rebounds. I mean, get somebody, park the bus, take a shot for a rebound. It's all day. And I like your note too, especially against Peoria. It's a big rivalry game. Set that tone early. Get out there. Start the third line. You know, start the fourth line. Get it physical. Get hot. You know. So those are my keys.
Right. Okay. And
Get
then,
physical. Get hot.
so for this weekend, oh god, we're gonna have to put a content restriction on this video.
It's fucking awful.
Anyway, so players to watch this weekend. For me, I think the player to watch is, it's an easy choice because it's, but I think you're gonna watch Leif Madsen over the weekend. I think holding him off the score sheet for a weekend is a very rare feat. I think he comes back and gets a handful of points over these next few games. And for you?
Well, you know what? I think that it's pretty common around the league now. You know, Leaf's got a target on his back. I think that the league is sending the house at him. Anyone around Leaf, let's go like Wheelan Parish.
Yeah.
Parish, you know, you're going to have more space. Like, they're probably going to be putting a guy and a half on him. So use your space. He's a great playmaker. He's got a great rip. So, Wheels, that's the guy I'll be watching.
Yeah, and then Hopi's favorite.
Yeah,
Also,
is he?
also Wheels.
I miss his flow. He had some sweet flow, but
he
tucked it in. So
at the beginning of the year, we went to the season ticket pickup party with the girls, and Hopi and Luna were just like all up on both Maynard and Parrish. They were just chatting them up like nobody's business. So that follows us up. If you could bring it up to our social media questions. We had an actual pretty decent amount of them this time. Thank you guys.
Thanks so much for sending them in.
Yeah,
like,
thank
it's
you
so
guys
fun
for
to
that.
hear it and interact with it. So I appreciate that.
It gives us a lot to talk about, and we appreciate hearing from you and engaging with you on
So
there.
please continue to do so.
Absolutely.
Anything you want under the sun is perfect.
So from the Instagram, we have the Storm Memes page, which love Storm Memes page. Those guys are great.
Good on you.
Like the last weekend when Leaf had a hot weekend, they reposted just a guy on fire with Leaf's head superimposed over him, which I loved. But they ask the best Storm goalie of all time.
A Storm goalie of all time.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead? Or?
You know, without thinking about it, because actually that's not my strong suit anyway. Like, you just want to talk about if you're building a goalie. I love Brent Moran. Like, Brent Moran is, the perfect goalie. 6'3", long, fast, like, very smooth. This is brutal. Man. I said all of these same like buzzwords last week. Not Pete. Not Pete.
So you've chosen Brent Moran, who is long, fast, and smooth. Okay.
Yeah.
On a slot. Okay. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with you. The guy was a draft pick of the Dallas Stars for
Fourth
a reason.
round, number 115.
Yeah, 4th round draft pick of the Dallas Stars. Brent Moran has been lights out in his whole career here at the Storm.
All he
honestly.
does is stop pucks. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard to say because there's been a couple like, DeSalvo comes to mind.
huge deal. And then
He was
obviously,
really good, but I just think that was a little bit before his time here.
he was a huge part of the franchise in the beginning.
Love Bailey in that too, honestly.
That was there were times,
I don't want
man.
to speak any ill though. Just there were some times where it seemed like maybe his head or his heart or something wasn't all the way.
Understand that, yeah.
And I love the way, like, I feel you could argue the same with Brent because he's so hot all the time, and I fucking
that.
love that.
I
love it.
love that. I love
Guy
watching
skates
him
through his
just-
crease. Guy skates through his crease. Helmet's off. He's in the ref's face. Like, I love it.
I
I love a hot goalie. Dude.
Like, I don't sit anywhere where I can hear things anymore since I'm against the glass, but I tell you what, the number of times I just see his head going. It's just great.
Yeah.
Just yelling at everyone. I hope we see him scrap sometime. I'd love to see that.
I would like it, but I've seen just one too many bad goalie fights where
Yeah.
take a shot on the chin. Or, the goalies just aren't built for that. I don't want to see Brent fight. Maybe in his last game here.
But yeah, definitely Brent Moran's got to be for us that choice. Then we have again on Instagram, Kenzie GRWM Life. If you could set a storm starting lineup, what would it be? And I'm going to go ahead and take this as the current roster.
I like current.
For me, obviously go Brent Moran in net, and I think I'm going to go. We forgot to mention also on call up now with the Worcester Railers, Severi Savioki.
Oh, Tapioca's gone.
Yep, forgot to mention that, but I'm going to go ahead and count him in
He
on
went
this.
to Worcester.
I'm going to go ahead and count him in on this because for me,
I liked his game.
it'd be Brent Moran, Savioki, Fournier. I mean, that's what Topper does most games is that for good reason.
Yeah.
And then up front, I think you got to go with Parrish, Mattson, and then lately
This is the fun part. This is the part that's gonna be.
they've been experimenting with who goes there,
Mhm.
slotting in to replace Golka.
They've been trying to put bigger bodies in there. I think.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
because I've seen Van Newton go with them. I've seen Zhu go with them.
The two that really come to mind for me is when Hudson and Moran have been going with them as of late.
I think for me, I'd like to put Mo up there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, put Mo up there with them, get him going with those guys. I think that might be something fun to watch.
I've got an interesting one. I think.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
I'd like to see Brent and net. It's
Yep.
pretty obvious. Fournier on the left and Maynard on the right. Like, I don't know. I like that. I like that combination.
I do love the right-handed defenseman on the right side.
You can have a guy who can move it like Fournier, and then you can have Maynard is not that he doesn't play it so well, but he's more of like that
Shifty.
standard defenseman.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has some offensive upside. You got your wheels. You got wheels on the left, Mattson in the middle, and I like Nick on the right.
Oh yeah,
Lately,
that front.
lately they have been bullying the piss out of Leaf, and there's no answer for it. Especially you get like Van Newton, and I know Wheels is kind of a chippy guy,
Oh
but I don't think he's like I'm gonna defend the house kind of guy. So they need to have somebody out there who can like kind of put an end to the nonsense. Like that's your
Yep.
star player. That's the best player in the league. You have to protect that.
Yep.
He's been getting bullied like relentlessly. So I'd like to see somebody like Nick up there. If he could, when he gets a chance to come back, maybe give him a little first line minutes because somebody's got to protect the house. Like
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed, like you were saying, I have noticed that Parrish is definitely the thorn of the side
he's
guy.
he gets it like when you're not looking from behind.
little
Cross check
here
you
and
when you're on the ice in front of the net. Like, no, that's sweet, dude. Like, I love the way he plays.
Right. So those are our starting lineups. Next up, we have from Instagram once again, Ro Montana. Thank you for answering. Thank you for asking again. We have the favorite Mallards and favorite Storm jersey. So for each franchise.
What?
For me,
25 years of jerseys.
yeah.
Huh?
So for me, I already I know it. For me, the Mallards
30
jersey.
years, 30 years, 35 years.
For me, the Mallards jersey, I gotta go. It's the standard home white. That thing
Yeah.
is iconic. It is gorgeous, and it is a piece of history here in the Quad Cities. I mean, it's the jersey that won all the banners that are currently
I
hanging
agree.
up there, and it's perfect. And for Storm, that's a tough one. I was a decent fan of when they had the blue stripes on the sides. The blue stripes on the arms and the no stripes across the bottom. I would have preferred they have the twisty logo like that one on the black, but they went with the big QC, which I'm not a huge fan
It's
of.
a little
But
bulky, like especially when you wear it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
it's kind of
bulky.
wrinkly.
Yeah.
But I have to go with the glow jersey up there. That jersey is incredible.
Like what do you call it? A diamond in the rough. Like,
That is so sick. It is so sick.
I got a great deal on that, by the way. Thanks, Tom.
No, that is like it's really 90s looking. Like looks like a roller hockey jersey from the 90s.
You think?
I love it. Yeah, and then it's got obviously the glow
I do have a
elements to
roller
it.
hockey jersey that looks just like it.
Yeah. Yeah, for you.
That is so tough because with the Mallards having 30 odd years of specialty jerseys and their days in the coast, they had some fucking phenomenal thirds.
Yep.
Um,
That Vegas Ducks
that
jersey.
Vegas Ducks one honestly is like so hard to pull against it. But if we're just doing like classic Mallards, I like the Disco Duck.
Disco.
Disco
Those
Duck.
the numbers on those were sick.
Absolutely wild.
Those were really sick.
That's on one of my bucket. Or well, no, that's a jersey lister though.
I could probably put you in touch with the guy that's got a couple.
I know a
think.
couple of guys who have. I don't think they want. I don't think they want to walk away from them. But yeah, the Disco Duck. Then Storm jerseys. This is one of the tougher decisions I've ever had to make.
They have so many cool
The
ones.
Winter
over the years.
Classic though.
First year or second
Oh.
year?
The first year. Sorry, last
Yes.
year.
The
2023's Winter Classic against
Oh,
Peoria. Oh
That's my
God.
second favorite. That's
Oh
my
my
second
God.
favorite.
I wasn't able to make that game, so I literally had to like video conference into the auction to win one. So
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
so no, had to get one. That's a must-have jersey. If you're a big jersey guy like I am, that is
It
the
was
best jersey they've
beautiful.
ever had in their franchise.
that. It was beautiful. It looks like we got Aiden Weepert here on Instagram. Favorite Storm and Mallard player of all time. For me, I mean, if I've talked to you at any length about my favorite players, it's no secret that my favorite Mallard is Mark McFarland.
That's pretty easy.
I mean, heart and soul guy, like scrapped, scored,
Yeah, he
you
did
know,
everything.
everything. Just
He shit or he trash talk. Like, he was phenomenal.
and then Storm. That's a tough one. Favorite player. I mean, I've made as time has went, I've kind of made personal acquaintance with a lot of the players.
Yeah.
I probably should have thought about this before we went on here.
No, that's all right. That's part of it. You don't want to do any thinking. Never.
No thinking. I don't know. My boy Shane Bennett. So fun to watch when he was here.
Really, just
And
a
he has
sweet
a
dude
bubble.
too. Really a sweet,
Look at that.
sweet, down to earth guy.
That
Like,
looks exactly like him.
had a number of conversations with Shane. He's a really nice fellow.
Yeah,
Hope
no,
he's
Shane's
doing
great. Yeah, and congrats to him on getting married.
Oh,
Very,
oh
very
boy.
cool. I mean, it's been a while now, but yeah, congrats to him. Hope he's doing well. We got now here on Facebook, we got Kayla on Facebook. What is one goalie, one D-man, and one forward that played for the Storm that you would love to see back on the roster, even if just for one game?
I wonder if you have some strong candidates for this one.
Oh, geez. One goalie, one D-man, and one forward. For me, goalie... I mean, just because he played on the team for so many years and was such a huge part of the start of it, I'd love to see Salo play one more game.
Yeah.
Just because he was just such a part of the beginning of the team.
Dog.
Yeah. Sweet, sick as pads, by the
Oh my
way.
God. Dude.
So sick.
If you look at like his pictures on the Google or whatever, like every team he went to, the Bryans.
So sick.
If you know anything about like hockey goalie stuff, Bryans, they do a lot of custom jobs. He was all over the custom jobs throughout his career. So very sweet, very, very, very tight pads. Good. He also had a team helmet too, if you do recall.
Yep, that he did. And then defenseman and forward. Defenseman for me is going to be Carter Shinkarik.
Oh yeah.
I loved watching him when he was here. Things just didn't work out, but guy was an elite skater, just so fast.
Yeah, energy guy too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wasn't afraid to scrap. He was real fun to watch. And then forward. I mean, I would go with Shane Bennett, but I already talked about him a bit, so I'm going to go with Marcus Ortiz.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He was really fun to watch here as well. What about you?
Well, goalies, you know what? Like, I had a soft spot for him. I loved Kevin. I loved Kevin Resop. You know, he brought all the things to the table that you ask in a goalie. Thought he would have maybe a little more success in Pensacola, but, you know.
I actually think we broke him in Pensacola.
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't having a great year.
Our bad.
He wasn't having a great year before that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, although it was really fun to watch that one. Cause
I like watching him win. I don't give a fuck who's in that.
they
can put my mom in that. I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
That was that game where they had the bottle pop.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Well, that was the first game, and they smashed him again the second night too.
Right.
So
you got D-man and forward.
Hate the number. Love the guy. Joe Silva.
49
49 is grimy, but yeah, absolutely nothing else grimy about the guy. Totally sweet, funny dude. Great with the puck. Great puck mover. Such good length. Right. Get along. The player stick he used was longer than the average player stick.
It was. I think so. I have one of those. I think he
put a little
I haven't unwrapped it, but I'm pretty sure he literally put like a chunk of wood on the end of it.
And he used that length to have his way with opposing teams.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, before he retired, had a career year with the Storm.
Yeah.
21-22.
Fucking great year. Probably the best year of his career.
Career. And then forward.
Now, forward's tough because I wanted to go with Shane Bennett right off the bat. I'd already thought about it. So yeah, so I'm gonna go and do with Shane Bennett. I know he came back once already for a weekend.
He had a good time. I have the little puck he tossed, so he got second star that game against Peoria.
Yeah,
and they beat Peoria.
So it was good to see him, and again, wish him well.
All right. Next up on Facebook, we have our boy Spencer.
Oh, Spencer, what's up, brother?
Spencer says, do you think we had a better chance with the roster at the beginning of the season or the current roster?
That's tough. Is that the roster with Orca and Salak?
True, yeah. Are we counting the guys who didn't ever actually show up?
Yeah.
But
I saw a lot of promise in that roster, so
yeah.
I was like, how are they putting this roster
Yeah,
together, honestly?
But for me, I mean, the current roster, you got to go with it. I mean, after we made some of the changes we did after we went on that skid,
yeah,
I think we looked good. I mean, the making game is tough, but aside from that, we've looked pretty good, and I think we got a good shot with this current roster.
It's tough for me because, like, you know, you're missing Golka, like he's a top career point guy here. He's always given it everything. Like, he just gave a damn leg for the team.
Literally.
So, there were some, I don't know. You find some gems though, like. If none of that happens, you don't find a Slim.
True.
You
Yeah.
don't get a Henderson.
Yeah.
So it's so tough, but yeah, you know, I gotta roll with who they got right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some arguments for the beginning of the season, but you know that's.
So, following up here, we got Josh Island on Facebook. He's got top 3 QC jerseys of all time.
Oh.
And then the bottom 3 QC jerseys.
Bottom 3. That's easy.
So for me, top 3. I mean, I've said I love the glow jersey.
You do the top 3. I'll do the bottom 3.
Okay. So top 3. I mean, I gotta go with White Home as number 1. That's just, you know, it is what it is. And number 2, I'm going 2 on the glow jersey.
You really like it that much?
I freaking love the glow jersey.
35 years of Mallards jerseys.
Love the glow jersey.
Okay.
It is so sick.
It is phenomenal, especially when it glows. That is probably my favorite aspect of it, is the glowing angle of it.
A jersey I really dig, but I've only ever seen one. the Toga Knight jersey from, I think it might have been 97, 98.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's got like a Greek
Yeah.
thing on the band across the stomach, and it's
You
gold.
That one is a top 3 all-time jersey.
It's sick. It just got gold on it.
Yeah.
And in like 96, having something shiny.
35 years of Mallory's jerseys.
Weird choices, but those are my choices.
That's fair. That's why they asked you.
I have my thoughts on the worst, but you go ahead.
Fucking Paw Patrol jersey.
Tough look.
The fucking Baby Shark jersey.
Also another tough look.
The fucking Barbie jersey. And let me get in on ripping the Barbie jersey real quick, because the Barbie jersey actually had some excellent elements. Like really unique, cool elements, but just it says Barbie
Game day.
There's
There's no storm. It's just
so
we are Barbie.
If they do a pink twisty with like the gray highlights or whatever, I think
that would look pretty
that
cool.
would have been
Yeah.
phenomenal. It actually would have been really sick. And then just do the Barbie on the back patch or whatever. But just a shameless plug for Barbie Game Day. No, I can't get behind it.
Right.
I'm sure they had their reasons that they did it, but
Right.
top 3.
So we got Michael Peets on Facebook. He sits right behind me in 102. Outside of Matson and Parrish, who will have the biggest impact for the Storm the rest of the season?
Okay.
Go ahead and lead this one off.
Okay. I like Johnny Witzke. I think that's pretty obvious. If you just look at the numbers,
The wits.
Kid Witz, he's one of those guys who maybe leaves you wanting a little more on defense, but is essentially a fourth forward, I think, a lot when he's out there.
Stepping up big time on his rookie year. He's
He's sick.
yeah.
He's absolutely sick. He does nasty stuff. He can drive the offense as well as anyone else. Johnny Witzke's my guy.
Has a great wrist shot from point too. For me, down the stretch here. I mean, once Brent Moran gets healthy, I'm going with Brent Moran.
Oh.
I mean, he's good. I mean, he's a huge.
Oh, that's an obvious one.
Yeah, huge element. Steals games for him constantly.
In one year out the other, he missed 2 games, so I was like, who?
Yeah, but Brent Moran is my choice there. So that's the end of the social questions, and that will be the end of the second episode. Thank you guys for listening to our long and smooth talk. We hope it wasn't too hard for you.
You're a dirt.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.